Our laws as it pertains to substances are draconian and bizarre. Psychopaths start this way. He was an alcoholic because of social media and pornography, PTSD, love addiction, fentanyl and heroin. Ridiculous.
I'm a doctor, for sake. Where the hell do you think I learned that?
I'm just saying, you go to treatment before you kill people. I am a clinician. I observe things about these chemicals. Let's just deal with what's real. We used to get these calls on Loveline all the time. Educate adolescents and to prevent and to treat. If you have trouble you can't stop and you want to help stop it, I can help. I got a lot to say. I got a lot more to say.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the squad. Some of our new viewers here. We appreciate you showing up. And this week's episode is courtesy of A Mission for Michael. If you're struggling with mental illness or you're concerned about a loved one who maybe need to go to treatment, go to amfmtreatment.com or call 866-581-4401. And as always, I'm happy to be working with our friends at Hydrolite. Go to hydrolite.com/Drew. and use the code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout for 25% off. Hold that for a second, Caleb. Actually, go to drdrew.com/hydrolite. It should be backward. Dr. Drew Hydrolite, and use Dr. Drew 25 for 25% off your purchase there. All right. So the World Health Organization estimates that each year, approximately 1 million people take their own life. That's one death every 40 seconds. Experts predicted numbers would peak in 2020, but no one have imagined what the devastation we brought on by COVID-19. And during the coronavirus pandemic, you may experience anxiety, sadness, loneliness, existing mental health conditions, including severe anxiety and major depression. These may worsen if you're feeling hopeless, contemplating self-harm, or you're concerned about someone else. I'm here to tell you there is hope. A Mission for Michael. They're dedicated to helping clients achieve complete inner and outer transformation. AM/FM is the premier resource for intensive mental health treatment in Southern California, with an astonishing 2-to-1 client-to-staff ratio. Each client in their facility receives individual care 24 hours a day, overseen by a team of all doctorate or master's level clinicians, with a focus on evidence-based treatments, along with personalized and compassionate mental health treatment that changes lives. So if you're suffering from mental illness or you're concerned about a loved one, go to amfmtreatment.com or call 866-581-4401. All right, everybody. I'm very excited about our guest. COVID-19 has resulted in many changes for America, including staggering unemployment numbers. With many Americans desperate to find new income, the risk of falling for an employment scam has risen astronomically. So what are those red flags? Today's guests are here to help answer your questions. Ashton, Bingham, Kulik, founder of Trilogy Media in 2016, and have become YouTube's favorite scam-busting channel, garnering over 18 million views, all dedicated to bringing awareness to common scams and helping people discern what's real and what's fake. They're joining me now live, ready to answer your calls at 984-2 Drew. Gentlemen, welcome. I've already been inundated by the squad. Now I'm watching them jump past my screen here, so welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
You got the best squad in the world.
You do have the best squad in the world. However, they're already sort of dishing about you guys. They were all on me to ask Art about your hair and whether you wet your hair down and discuss some of your emotions around your hair. And maybe that's something we need to sort of get into right away. No?
That's our opener right there.
This is absolutely unacceptable. I must tell you that.
I'm just following the squad. Why would I have any pre-existing knowledge about you and your relationship with your hair? But if you don't feel comfortable talking about it, all good.
No problem.
No, this is great. There are days you put your hair down. There are days you put your hair in ponytails. And,
So our number again is 984-237-3739. We're going to take calls from you guys in a minute. I want to hear about you guys and how you got into this and what your goals are now. And then we're going to bring in Susan to tell you about 2 stories that we have been through that are sensational. I kid you not. Somebody's actually, Paul is on the line. Paul, I'm going to answer this for you. You don't have to get on the line about that question if that's the question you have, which is he wants to know if we've ever been scammed. And he's a Trilogy subscriber, and we have definitely been scammed. So, gentlemen, how'd this all happen to you?
We started this back in 2016. We've been brothers and business partners since long before that. We both moved to LA at different times, and our paths crossed. Always dreamt of being content creators and looking for our way of being ourselves and being able to do our thing. And back in 2016, I was getting inundated with those crazy IRS robocalls to my personal cell phone, like to the point where it was dozens every day. And you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to make a funny video for my Facebook. Let me answer one, record it, and just, have some fun. So I did. The call ended up going almost an hour long. I had the guy on this whole time. He was so angry that I wasted his time that he went on this crazy terrorist rant. He took responsibility for 9/11. He cussed me out every upside, left, and sideways. And the video went crazy viral. So we kind of, over the next year, started developing more content and realizing how big of a problem scams are in the world, how prominent they are, how much worse they're getting. And it seemed to resonate with a lot of people, and it continued to grow. And we acquired the best online family anyone could ever even imagine having. And the rest was history.
They do seem very dedicated. And is it because they too have been scams, or they like the fact that you guys are interfering with the scam operators? What motivates them to become such enthusiastic supporters?
You know what I can tell from perspective that we see, we're very happy people. We all about positivity. We created this bubble that we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. We're here to unite, not divide. And we call this escapism, especially nowadays. So
it's one thing everyone can agree on.
Yes.
Is that scammers suck. And we're here to waste their time. Sometimes we get a little crazy or vulgar or whatever, but it's all in the spirit of wasting their time, letting the scams play out over the phone so people can kind of learn the trigger points and how they work, so they become more aware, and create a place of people to come where everyone can be welcome and love each other. And that seems to resonate wider than we ever anticipated it would. And it makes perfect sense, though.
And I'm a little bit of a question mark, a thought bubble over my head. With Ashton, you describe yourselves one another as business partners and brothers, and we met, and you didn't give me any details about that. I mean, clearly you're from the same neighborhood. I can tell by the way Art talks.
We're in the same hospital, actually. No, we're firm believers that you don't have to be blood related to be family. We've known each other. I met him probably less than a year after I moved to LA back in 2010.
How? Tell me that story.
Yeah, pursuing a dream of acting and filmmaking. And I mean, his story coming from across the planet, it's probably much more interesting. I come from the faraway land of Reno, Nevada, so it's not that fascinating. But our paths crossed through a mutual friend, and we always had this kind of connection of like, you know what, we're here to do whatever it takes. We're going to do it, and I'm sure you could speak to that. I mean,
it's definitely, everybody has different journey. I came to this beautiful country of America with $35 in my pocket, no speak English. But I had a big dream, and I have faith, and I had my blessings from my family, from my mom, that whatever you can do, just it all it takes one person who believe in you, and you can change and move the mountains. And I came and I got in this hustle, filmmaking, and we both already been, pursuing this career. And that's it. When we met, the first question I asked, I was like, can you be on time? Can you deliver when you promise? He said yes. And we start writing, producing, directing, whatever we can, and keep chasing the dreams together. Like Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's really interesting. And then it translated over to the YouTube. That starts to kind of make sense for me now. You really
it kind of happened on accident, but it was bound to happen either way somehow. And,
I get it.
Happened to be in the scam baiting space, which worked out perfect. So
to your point about performing and filmmaking, again, my knowledge base, gentlemen, your squad, sort of pre-screened me a little bit. They sort of pre-interviewed me. Okay.
Thank you, squad.
Oh, squad, I love you.
And so they had asked me, again, as it pertains to performing, that Art bring Rodney into the show.
Well,
Art? I think
I'm sorry. Yeah, Art. Or they said Art. Maybe I got it backwards.
I think that Ashton, this is Rodney, and I call scammers.
Fantastic.
Art is different kind of creature. My character is Vladimirovich Chaparovich. Like Vlad Chaparovich.
It's a stretch, Art.
Job with scammers.
So, all right. So I want to. Is there anything else you want to know? People to know that maybe whom are from my world that who are trying to get their head around what it is you do and why they should watch your channel.
Well, we're just two goofballs that want to promote positivity. We want to raise awareness of scams. We both had, it's affected us emotionally in one way or another, whether it's through the content or through family, attempts at being scammed. And we are so fortunate and so freaking grateful to be where we are. Our squad lifts us up every step of the way, and we are here chasing our dreams, living the dream, and being able to protect people and actually create an awareness around this big problem. So if you want to subscribe to Trilogy Media, if you want to see the recent scams, scam baits, and a little bit of extra fun, then come over.
Do you actually interfere with some of them? Do you have measurable results, or you just alert people to what's happening?
Well,
we do have results.
Yeah, absolutely. It started out as just, again, the very first video I made was meant for comedy. I didn't expect anything to come of this. So I'm here to waste his time, keep the IRS scammer on the phone as long as possible, to obviously, of course, to waste his time so he doesn't scam other people, but also to be able to, let it play out so people can learn something. But over the course of the channel growing and getting more resources, we've grown tremendously in the reach that this actually has, including 2 ex-scammers that we have contacted with that have professed their regret and their pain about what they do, and we've actually, in exchange for getting information from them on the inside and hidden camera footage,
how the call center works from the inside,
have helped them to turn their life around and start a business. That's happened twice, and in a collaboration with another YouTuber, Scammer Payback, we've been able to actually confront scammers in person and find out where these cash mules are in the United States today, and confront them and get to the bottom of this. So
there's something deeply satisfying, having been, we're going to tell you our story in a minute, but deeply satisfying knowing that you actually out these people and really address them face to face, because you feel so helpless. To have somebody out there going after them is like, it's almost like the, Lone Ranger or something. It's Superman. You're going to go fight for us.
Absolutely, and basically what I was trying to put that cherissimo on the top, when especially me coming internationally, we do not trust a lot of somebody gonna call you and ask you for money or any kind of payments. Eastern European, I only can tell for my people, it's very everybody's suspicious. Nobody gonna give you information. But when I moved to America and me and my brother start this YouTube channel, and by this accident viral video. And I started doing my homework as a God bless America citizen of the United States of America. And I was like, hold on one second. So it's a lot of people who doing IRS, tech support, Microsoft, Amazon, so many scams, so many victims, especially elderly category. And being a citizen, this is my country right now, you have to do something. We have community. In that community, somebody has to step up and make a difference. And with our amazing support from international community, Squadissimo, that's how we call our family, we're able to do this every single day, chasing them on the street and wasting time over the phone. So on every
wasting time, we waste time. And you mentioned the elderly, and there's an interesting medical issue in that observation, which is that there's two universal findings that all humans have as they age. 2. One is time speeds up. That is across all cultures. That is all humans. Second, we become more gullible.
Yeah,
absolutely true.
Well,
those are just 2. That just happens to us.
We've seen it face to face. In fact, the very first episode we did of this new series of actually confronting the scammers face to face, we came face-to-face with somebody named Susan, who is an elderly woman who we walked up to her house thinking she was a scammer, but in fact, we found out that she was a victim, and she was caught in this loop of lies through what's called the refund scam. She was scammed for over $31,000 2 years ago, and we finally caught up with it and were able to expose and let her know what was going on. Thankfully, the video reached a lot of people, and we set up a GoFundMe for her and got 150% of her money back. So over 40 grand, I believe, has been raised, and we gave it back to her, and we're able to help her get her credit cards paid down, her pension restored, and get her life back together. So it's heartbreaking, but at least there's some extremely rewarding things of being in this space too.
So Susan, which story shall we tell first?
Oh, as a matter of fact, my name is Susan. I have been scammed one time. Recently. The first time it was the IRS, and they called me while I was at the car wash and said that it was the IRS. Well, they asked my daughter, told my daughter that my son was going to go to jail for not paying his taxes. So she gave the scammers my phone number. So then they called me and I said, hey, I know who you guys are. Just knock it off. And the guy said, well, he goes, I'm here with your daughter having sex. And I was like, at your house. And I go, where? And he said, where I lived in Pasadena, but I knew she was in New York. And I went, okay. So I hung up on him and jumped in my car, and he called back, and I called Drew and I said, find Paulina. I go, something's wrong. And so he found her, and Drew said, stay on the phone with this guy. We're going to call the phone company. We're doing everything we could. And Drew just happened to be home. So I have like a 5-minute drive back from the car wash, and he's on the line with me, and he's like, he calls me back on Paulina's phone number.
Wait, so my daughter's phone number showed up on my wife's screen.
And it was him, and he says, I'm here with your daughter, and I don't mean to use like a derogatory voice or anything, but he had an accent like sort of Pakistani, I was thinking maybe.
Well, so this went on for
and he
an
says,
hour.
he goes, oh, she's very beautiful. I said, hey, I know you're not with my daughter. And I said, and he was like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm at the market.
So then he
I don't know. I just made something up.
Having essentially, what do you call it when online talking sex and the phone sex? Started having phones, trying to engage her in phone sex. My wife, on phone sex.
And I could hear him in the cubicle, and I could hear other people behind him, but I had this feeling that he was starting to get off on it, and so it was sort of making me madder and madder because I had to stay on the phone with him because Drew told me to stay on the phone with him.
Well, then she got home, and then I got the phone, and I just went,
before I hung up the phone, he called me like 30 times that day. I hadn't noticed, but before I hung up the phone, I told him, I said, do you know what I would do if I was with you right now? And then I told him something that I don't really want to say right now. And he went, excuse me? And like an American voice. I was like, it was kind of mean. And it had something to do with dismembering a part of his body and shoving it up his ass.
You're not going to offend us. We've said probably.
Okay,
far worse.
so I run upstairs to the phone. He calls back, again, and now he's having fun. And Drew was there, and he got on the phone. He's like, "Hey, you ever, don't ever call here again. This is my wife."
I just went nuts on him.
I know, it was great. I never had you do that before. It was really kind of exciting. Anyways, I didn't get scammed, but we had to cancel my daughter's phone number, and I don't know, it's just, and I had to block him, but I did notice he called like 30 times that day. I was like, this is totally weird. And
so what should we have done with that?
I know, what should we have done?
Well, first of all, sorry to hear that. That should not happen to anybody, and especially with all these...
someone that's never dealt with the scammers before. I myself, when I had that first call, when he was making all these claims about 9/11 and stuff, it actually brought me to tears. I was actually freaked out after the call, not having experience with them and knowing how vile, how sick, once they know that they're not going to get money out of you, they just want to hit you anywhere they can to make it hurt. And it's, we're kind of numb to it now because we've talked to literally thousands of scammers. But yeah, I mean, what we recommend to people is just don't engage with them. Just hang up the phone. Their callback number is going to be inactive probably in a matter of hours. They're constantly shuffling their caller IDs.
How did they get my daughter's phone number to show up on my wife's phone?
It's called spoofing. So
it freaked me out.
They can spoof the number. Oftentimes, another scam that goes around too is you'll get a call from a phone number that's very similar to yours, so it looks like it's local.
That happens to me every day. Every day I get that, and then it's Chinese. It's Chinese when I answer. Yeah, 100% of the time.
All the call centers are overseas, but they use apps, and sometimes when we call it back and they don't answer, we can hear the voicemail of that app. Like Text Now is one of them. It's just a free call number spoofing app that they're just cycling through their VoIP numbers to make them look like U.S. area codes, because they are, but they're actually routed to India call centers.
And not to mention, actually, those ex-scammers that we help them quit this dirty organization and move back to their families and start businesses. When we talked to them, they actually said, I don't remember which one, but one of ex-scammers said, he was like, this is multi-billion company, right? Industry. So what bosses who drives Rolls-Royce live like freaking an amazing life in India, they will send people to train here in America, So they will start working for cellular companies, AT&T or different companies, and collect information, and then they're gonna send that information back to India, and they're gonna apply that information and start literally approaching number by number.
That's
so
incredible.
it's more than we think. It's way deeper and bigger.
We made a major contribution to one of those businesses. It turned out
It was the utilities company.
This is number 2 scam.
This was recent. The other one was like 5 years ago, but the recent one was I was in my office bed working on a podcast, and I was just preparing for the show and doing my work, and I got a phone call from the utilities company, and because of the PPP thing and, you know, the businesses and all this stuff, I had paid my utilities bill a little differently this time. I had paid with a check, and I don't know, it was just kind of a different way. I didn't use a credit card. And so I get a call from the utilities company. They said, you know, we're going to turn off your power in an hour if you don't go down to the Ralph's and pay your bill.
The Ralph's?
Or something like that. And I was
to
like,
a grocery store to
and
pay
I
your bill?
totally fell for it. I was like, because I remembered, and I looked and I pulled up my utilities bill, and I said, oh, it says that I have a negative amount due. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe something's up, and you're right. So
and
what
you paid with a check, and you don't have
and
to
I
cancel
need my
check.
electricity
and we have
on.
something like a show like this coming up in a couple of hours, so she's in a
probably
panic.
wouldn't be good if the power went off right now. So I said, what do I do? They go, you need to get a money pack. And I'm like, I know what a money pack is. And they go, okay, go pick up a money pack at this Ralph's or whatever, and then call us with the money, and we'll, you know, so I had to go find cash. So I was driving all over Pasadena trying to find cash.
I mean,
Like
she was in deep.
$1,000
in a panic, running around like, oh my God, the power's getting turned off today. You don't understand.
I was blocking calls because I was in a hurry, and I got the money, and I finally found a place that would sell me the money pack, and I gave it to them, and then they said, oh, it didn't go through. You have to get another one. So I drove to another bank, and then when I got to the other bank, I said, you know what? This is starting to look fishy.
She's like, I'm going to get this. And she was like, oh, wait a minute.
I was in front of the bank ready to withdraw another $1,000. And I went online to the utilities company, and it said, please don't fall victim. We would never call you on the phone and ask you for money. And I was on the internet, and I was like, why didn't I see that when I first pulled it up? And the utilities company was in a negative. They actually owed me money because I overpaid it the month before, which is fine because it'll go. But I felt so old. I felt so old. I finally grew old enough to be scammed, and not because I'm usually pretty good at not getting scammed. Oh man.
So any recommendations on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a big one, especially when you're getting calls from people that are claiming to be from a certain company, in this case, the utility people. Yeah. If you ever have any shred of suspicion, which hopefully if they're calling you demanding money right now, usually you should have some kind of red flag up. And in that case, disconnect the call and Google the phone number of the company that they're claiming. And call them directly. If someone's claiming to be Microsoft,
it was really interesting. Though, let me say something else. It was really interesting. I called back, and they gave me the number to call back, and I called back, and I was having like this relationship with this woman, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. Just go here. Just do that." And then I called back again, and then they transferred me to somebody else. It was a whole operation. Like they had a
That's what
business
they're telling
office.
you. They're telling you the bosses all drive Rolls Royces.
I know.
You made his payment for that month.
Yeah. Seriously.
No, I get it. And I always Google a number. I've always done that in the past. I've never been, but this was weird because I had a reason to believe that my phone bill was screwed up because they didn't get my check or something, or my utilities because I sent a check one. It was just a moment of weakness that was, I felt like I was actually laughing at myself. I actually deserved it that time.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be scammed, no matter what we've done before or whatever has happened. But what we know, in fact, especially when IRS gonna call you and gonna tell you that you have to owe money for taxes 2019, 2018, some companies, as Social Security, IRS, they never call you. They only communicate by mail. And that's how they got you, and that's why it's a great suggestion. If somebody pushing you, rushing you to make this decision, and you feel like this is too much. It's supposed to be government who's supposed to protect me. Like
they want to create urgency.
They want to create urgency.
They want to make you do it now so you don't think about it. You know,
You're gonna get arrested. 10 minutes. Right. Go get gift cards from Target.
They're saying some of them are from the 911s. I'm reading the squad, and some from the sheriff department. These sort of urgent sorts of organizations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever their claim is, they'll always have a story, whether it's your computer virus, whether it's IRS, Social Security, whatever it is, it's happening now, whether it's an arrest warrant or your virus on your computer is going to wipe out your bank. It's always going to be right now. They don't want you to tell anybody, and they don't want you to think about it. They just want you to act because they want you to be scared, and that's what makes you make decisions that you're not really thinking through, that aren't really logical.
How did the guys that had done this, they're recovering from it, let's say, how do they live with themselves? It's just so despicable, the behavior.
That's a great question. We will ask that question, Drew, every single time when we're finding a remorsal of somebody who want to talk to us and like, look, guys, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm going to let you know every single time I'm going to sleep, I either drink myself up so I would not think about people that I scam, or I'm on drugs, I do this and this. You will find a lot of teenagers, early 20s, let's say individuals, scammers, who will be very heavy on drugs. They believe in karma in their country, and they're trying to do anything just not to think about what are they doing for a living.
Does anybody imagine to have a fantasy about pulling a vigilante group together and going in and infiltrating one of these groups and just you want to just beat the shit out of these guys? So that's your instinct.
Tell me about it, especially being Russian. I would love to come to that call center.
Well, I'm going to have Vlad the Impaler do it, and I'm
not gonna serve the purpose.
Yeah, we hear the same story a lot with that kind of stuff. And, you know, when you're on the phone with someone in the call center, you're talking to usually an entry-level person before you get transferred to the closer or whatever they want to call it. So, you know, and they're all young. They're all in their early 20s. And the ones that we've actually helped turn their life around both had very similar stories about how they were kind of duped into the job. They weren't told what it was until they're in too deep to leave, and they don't pay them right away. So it's like once you work for 3 weeks or a month, you then have to wait 2 more weeks to get your money for that. So they always say like, I can't, there's no work. I need to support my, not that I'm justifying it, but that's their story, you know? And
so Art, let's go get the head guy. Makes it even easier. We know who we're going to get. We're going to get to cut the head off the fish.
He's only 9 feet tall. So it's
you know what? So that snake, that anaconda will stop moving.
Yeah.
You have to chop that head.
Yeah.
I wish I could have. Hey, about the job interview scams, like, is this in person or is it over the phone?
A lot of it's via email and via, especially right now, work at home jobs. You got to be so careful about job postings that are vague, ones that promise guaranteed fast money, ones that you can make a lot of money at home doing something that seems tedious and menial, but you can guaranteed lots and lots of money, work from home.
No skills required. It's no experience in this. Yeah.
And the biggest thing they want is either money from you or your personal information to steal your identity. And so that will come in many forms. It can be them asking you money to pay for a certification, right? Or money to pay for your
training,
your activation package.
Activation package.
There's so many ways of going about it, or even just your banking information or your social security number to before you've even been interviewed. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like that's never going to happen, and you just got to be really careful. If it seems too good to be true, usually it is.
And what we usually suggest to people, if you see, let's say, Best Buy, any company want to give you a job and you interviewing through this company, do your homework. If this person claiming who found you by mail, by email, claiming that he's a CEO, he's a general manager, Google him. Go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook, Instagram.
Or call Best Buy.
Call back and say, like, hey,
and ask them, you know.
Will you guys guarantee me $150 an hour? Is it true?
Joe Blow at yahoo.com says, senior marketing rep, is this true? Probably not. So, you know, you got to go around what you're being told and do your own research to see if the dots connect. And if they don't, then run.
A couple of your squad has brought up the issue of white hat hacking and maybe having some sort of counter force available that is legal from this country. Is that something you guys have an opinion about?
I mean, there are YouTube channels that focus specifically just about this, and I certainly can't claim to be a hacking or cybersecurity expert. We, of course, we fell into this from the perspective of content creation and wanting to make people laugh, and then we just happened to discover this. But there are channels, and God bless them. Scammer Payback, Jim Browning. They're basically doing, and I don't know what the actual hacking laws are because I don't know anything about it, but they're going and actually revealing. They're doing what would commonly be considered bad to do a good thing, and hey, if it's raising awareness and revealing these people and their faces and their methods and their logs and everything, then
shutting down the
more power to them.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, let's take some calls. Here we go. A lot of people are. All right, he'll try this one. This is Otto. Otto, what do you got for the boys?
Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, where you guys are. How's everyone doing?
Doing great.
Huge fan, big part of the spot. Just first question is, I'm a big proponent of cutting things at the root or attacking things at the root. And for me, it seems like a lot of these scamming opportunities, the scamming jobs, as you pointed out with Marquisimo and Dybala, the two examples, they came from a lack of opportunity. They come from, like they exploit a lot of vulnerable people. So my question is, in the long term or in the future, hopefully when the coronavirus is, eased and travel becomes more convenient and stuff, do you guys plan on going overseas and maybe tackling stuff closer to the root or even getting to the big bosses?
That's
overseas?
What I'm saying. That's my instinct too. Otto, let's put together a group. It sounds like a scam. We'll have a group. We'll have a whole tour, of a certain center in India, call center in India, and we'll just happen to be a bunch of large men, and sort of go in there and maybe have some iron with us of some type or another.
It's a tricky thing because we have heard from many different of the scammers that we have created relationships with that the police is not always on our side. These call centers are actually paying off police over there so that they don't be messed with. So it's like, of course, that would be amazing, but there are thousands of call centers and you don't know who to trust, especially if we were to go over there. We do want to go and we want to meet Marquisimo and Dybala, the two ex-scammers that we helped. But as far as cutting it at the source, it's a daunting task, and we'll do whatever it takes. But there's no clear roadmap.
Two of us, it's a drop in the ocean, but still, one scammer at a time. If we wasted 30, 40, 50, 1 hour of that specific person, it means somebody was saved at that time. But what I'm going to tell you, it's a big corruption. And when we talked to Marquisimo, ex-scammer, he said, guys, police is actually our security. They're on the payroll. On the payroll, and that's why it's multi-billion business. Everybody involved, everybody getting cut, and nobody like, you know what? I'm getting really good salary from this call center. Why should I even bring FBI from America and shut down my source of income? It's way deeper than just messing around over the phone.
Janelle, what do you got for us? Janelle.
Well, my sister fell for this scam twice. What do you do? What's the best thing to do if you get a pop-up on your computer that says your computer's frozen, you need to call this number right away?
Close it.
And then, of course, they want to get into your computer.
Don't even call them. The number they're usually posing to be Microsoft or Apple, but the phone number on that pop-up will lead to their call center. If you think there's a problem with the computer, Google the number for Apple or Microsoft and call them. But that pop-up, close it. You're not going to get pop-ups for viruses. It doesn't work that way. Close it out, shut your computer off, restart it. You're going to be fine.
All right. Thank you for that, guys. And this is Cody. Hi, Cody.
Hey, guys. What's going on? How you guys doing today?
Oh, good. I'm having a good time with these guys. I'm learning something. That's always good for me.
All right. Well, this goes out to the Squadissimo, Art, Ash, or Dex and Weasel. This is CK or CK Nar. Just wanted to give you guys a shout out. I'm just telling everybody out here to subscribe. I mean, these guys have actually worked their way up and busted ass to get where they're at, and they are making a difference in the community. And I cannot appreciate these guys enough. I am so proud to see how far they've gotten, and I'm looking forward to see exactly how far they come.
So there you go.
You, brother.
That's
Thank
right.
you so
Right
much.
on, Cody. Well said. Sandy has a very specific question. Oh, if I can get her up here. Hold on. Hi, Sandy.
Hello.
Hey, Sandy.
Hello, calling from Houston. I have to quit in a minute because my husband's here and he wants some dinner. I've heard on our local news stations that if you get a call, because my caller ID often says potential spam, and I don't answer calls for numbers I don't know, but it says it's better to, well, don't say anything, just look it down, and if it's a robot call,
We're having a bad connection. Sandy, I see what you're asking. So is it better to let it go to voice message or just let it ring through or answer it? What's the best thing? Or is there no best thing?
A lot of new, actually, one of a really good Trilogy Media friend is RoboKiller. It's an amazing app who actually going to block all these for you. So
hold on, RoboKiller. I'm getting that immediately.
Hold on. I let it go to voicemail. I have RoboKiller. They've sponsored Trilogy Media since the beginning, along with Multivisions, which is where you can also get some of the best computer protection. So back to that pop-up question, hit up Multivisions online for your computer protection. But yes, I just let it go. I don't answer it.
And it's free. RoboGuard and RoboKiller are free.
Sign up for it. It's a great app. They block a lot of calls, and we actually make what are called answer bots, where you can make a recording to waste the scammer's time for you without you having it.
So it feels so good. There's RoboGuard and RoboKiller. You guys are RoboKiller?
Killer.
The one who kills stuff. RoboKiller.
Get.
Like, download now.
And that is something I do not want to waste a minute getting.
Exactly. You didn't want to get involved, and like my brother said, you know what?
So now we're in Dr. Drew's phone because you could put our answer bots on your phone.
Oh, so you guys are my scammers essentially, and you've now put a virus on my phone. Is that what we're talking about here? Oh.
We got you, Andrew.
This is a pretty elaborate scam, gentlemen. It took a while to get where we were trying to go.
Scam you alive. I love it.
But it does make you sort of feel, interesting. No telling how elaborate someone might be to get in your pocket. So, Paul, what's going on?
Oh, hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, Paul.
There's a point that I wanted to make. Hey, boys. There's a point that I wanted to make. Like, these guys use basically improvisation and characters to tackle what is really like a life and death issue, which, so when I watch, there's so much funny. The characters are hilarious, and they adjust for individual scammers. And like today, there was a 45-minute call before stripped down both sides of this guy. And so my mom and dad are 79 and 80. I love, my mom watches, and we're in Canada, she watches this show Marketplace that talks about this stuff all the time. I showed my mom some of these guys' videos, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I knew that." And my mom's 79, and I'm so proud of my mom, but I'm really proud of these guys too, because helping DeBella and Marquisimo and Susan, what is life really about? You make connection with other people. And I also believe I have a disability, blah, 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 but I'm isolated a lot. And by watching these guys a lot and being able to take an active part by helping fund what they do, it gives me a feeling of community and of chosen family. And, you got it. And if things go awesome and I'm able to fly again, I really want to go to California and hang out with these bros.
Hell yeah, man.
You know what?
Unfortunately,
you guys are doing God's work.
And I can't, since we're talking about being connected here, I can't help you. And if you're not comfortable answering, please don't. But I feel like the boys will be more connected to you if we understand what it is you're dealing with.
29 years ago, as of a couple weeks ago, I was in Toronto. I live in Halifax, where I grew up now, but I was on a mountain bike and I got smoked at a corner, but I had a green light to go straight, and a tractor trailer cut me off. I went under the trailer, not the wheel.
Oh my God.
My tore a lot of internal stuff, 40 surgeries, 2 years in hospital. But I was a touring musician as a bass player for a long time. Endured a lot of indignities of that life. And what ended up happening is, I'll go super short with this, but 6 years ago, I shoveled some sidewalks in my neighborhood, and it changed my life into a life of service. I work for the city now at City Hall as the accessibility advisor. And so I see what these guys are doing very kin with what I'm doing, which is you're helping a lot of people who will never know who you are. And which to me is the reason it's so beautiful, because I get in the media locally a lot, but the great thing is to do something where you can benefit other people. That's your legacy. And if people thought more about that, about legacy instead of just accumulating crap and frivolous stuff, maybe do that as well. But legacy is a life well spent. And my disability has given me that. And for these crows, this is what they're doing too. And I love them for it.
Wow, that's intense.
First of all,
Paul, thank you for that, man.
Thank you, and God bless you.
That's one of the
You're a very strong person. You go through everything, and you still positive, and you find a way.
But people should listen carefully to what the story Paul told, because that's how people find meaning. It's that story of finding purpose and meaning in spite of extreme adversity and misery and all the stuff you had to go through, and then gratitude for where you get.
Life is literally too short.
Yeah.
Life is literally too short. And after reacting angrily to things like inaccessibility for years, I decided to go out and shine a light on something by being an example. And it gave me this opportunity to be one of those guys that other people can look to. I've got people who consider me a mentor. Like, the meaning that gives all the suffering to me and my family, it's the opposite of what my ex-wife said. It's not my big head. It's so frigging humbling.
No, I
and
understand.
I love it. And if anybody's interested,
I'm betting.
If you Google,
sorry, Paul.
Yep. Sorry.
I was saying I'm betting that.
If you Google.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go. If you Google my name and the phrase "asshole with a shovel," my story's out there on Google.
We will look for it. And here's what I'm taking away from this. I'm going to get what Paul's telling me to do is get a shovel and beat these people over the head with it that are scamming all these folks here in this country. So we'll have a shovel brigade. That's what you guys need to put together on behalf of Paul. But in all seriousness, Paul, I'm betting that some of the moments that really nourished you were where there was actually one-on-one kind of exchange, not just redoing a sidewalk, knowing that it was going to help people. But I bet it's much like what you're doing for these guys.
I've been changing the way that City Hall thinks, which is where real change comes from. Change comes from changing people's hearts and minds so they take on things as a value. And to me, scam busting, serving your fellow citizens, is a core value. And I'm glad these guys don't get distracted by the comedy and stuff, because what they're doing is like really vital, important work.
I think they know
and
it.
This is I do great work. And, I found my opportunity to do it. These boys have found their opportunity to do it and to build a community. How great is that?
Yeah. Yep.
This is amazing.
That's incredible.
This is incredible.
Thank you, Paul, for saying that.
Thank you. Guys, back to the stream.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Paul. Good, and congratulations and thank you for everything you do. And I know you drive as much benefit as everyone drives from you. So, but, here we go. We'll go from the sublime to other. Louis or Luis?
Louis.
Louis.
Yes.
You're on, my friend.
But, yeah. So, yeah, because my mom, she's a big fan of, your show that you had on TV a while back. And, I'm a fan of social media and you guys, so I decided to come in and watch the stream. But, yeah, like a few years ago, my mom ended up getting a call from a scammer and from the IRS is what they said. And they said that they were going to put my mom in jail because she didn't pay her taxes.
Right.
Yeah,
is there a question? That's a comment.
And,
that's what happened to us.
Yeah, and my mom, and this was a few years ago, and I was kind of like about 9 or 10 years old, so I was kind of scared. And my mom literally woke up and she was literally like crying her eyes out and said that she was literally she's gonna go to jail. And yeah, and my mom literally like for a few hours, my mom was literally like super scared because she thought that they were being serious. And yeah, and so like a few months ago, I ended up receiving a scam call, and it was from people that tried to think that they were Social Security. and they were trying to say like my social security account is like
That's a common
they
thing, my
said like
friend.
they're like fraudulent charges. Yeah, and they tried saying like that my house was getting raided by U.S. Marshals, and I was in my head the whole entire time. I was pretty much thinking, well, none of this is literally true because I'm literally only 14 years old, so I must have been doing some pretty bad stuff.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Social Security is
they don't care who you are, how old you are. I mean, they love elderly people because they can take advantage of them more easily. But
they have the same script and they apply on younger, older. They don't discriminate. Same script. Your social. It was a banded car instead of taxes. Blood, 22 pounds of cocaine found it. Your driver license was inside of the car, and you know what? You're going to jail. Officer, marshal, or police is coming. Go to get some gift cards and
gift cards.
Money pack.
Oh my God, money pack. Susan, a money pack. Why didn't you think something was wrong?
And you clearly that nobody gonna fall for that. They think twice.
So, gentlemen, a couple things here. Paul with the shovel, his name Vienneau, Vienneau. So write that down so you can keep him in your thoughts and communication. Oh, you know him already?
Well, he's in our chats on our live streams all the time. We know Paul.
Okay, so you know him. Also, Mark the Shark. May I read something from him?
Please do. That's our sponsor. That's the Shark.
All right. Well, here we go. I found these boys by fluke when I was streaming the web. Once I watched them as CEO and co-founder of multivisions.com, I decided we need to help these guys and sponsor them. Best decision ever. So clearly that's an opportunity to talk about multivisions.com, which I will give you guys a chance to do.
Thank you.
So much.
It's worth the moment. They're North American software distributors, and Mark the Shark is one of our sponsors. And another
Canada. We love you so much,
Canada. No, they've been supporting us for a long time, and they're one of the big reasons why we can continue to scam bait and make calls and entertain.
Oh wait, I've got him. I think I have him on the phone here. Let me. Although
this will be.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, is that you, Mark the Shark?
Yeah, it's me. How's it going?
Hey, so first of all, we just did a huge ad for your company, so everything's fine. You don't need to call in. But if you want to say something to the boys, this is your chance.
Well, yeah, I just having a backlog history of being in the hacking world, having gone to Black Hat a couple of times. I work more at the computer level with the pop-ups of the 1-800, and also hackers doing ransomware. Which is huge, where basically you download an application or something, and next thing you know, your computer is at a complete halt, and these guys will turn around and ask you for a ransom to pay. So I take care of the online side of the business, and we've paired up with two of the biggest software antivirus, anti-malware companies. One is Heimdall Security, the other one is MCSoft. Basically anti-malware, antivirus, and these companies are actual ex-hackers who have become now white hackers who put these two softwares together. And some of the big names in the hacking world, like Fabian Wolzar, works for these companies. So basically, what they do is they stop these hackers from doing such blatant attacks, and that's what we do all day. Is we help companies with ransomwares. We help people like you and I who have home computers not fall victim to these applications. So when I was surfing the web, I was looking at a couple of videos here and there of some antiviruses companies, malwares, and all that, and then I ended up on these two guys. And at first, I was like, they're dorky, whatever. But at the same time...
So hold on. First of all, I'm offended. A dorky? How dare you call... Well, I mean, Ashton, that's one thing. But Art with his hair the way it is? How dare you?
Exactly.
Go ahead. Finish up.
So basically, when I found them online, I had compared them to other scam baiters that are out there who are more of the techie side, and basically they were 10 times funnier because they had an act behind it, as opposed to just, talking to some of these scammers and telling them what to do and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So after, I think, sending probably 10 emails to Ashton, he finally got back to me and said, "What do you want?" And I said, I want to sponsor your show. And he got back to me. And since then, we've been a great team together. And we love educating the community out there about these scams. You mentioned the 1-800 pop-ups. We have software that are ad blockers for these type of hacks where you won't even see these call 1-800 numbers. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done for the people out there, especially the older people who fall victim to these hacks.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys are unbelievable, and they're your guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for supporting them. I'm sure they're you can't see them maybe, but they're expressing their gratitude. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.
There you go. To that point, we have another question about the computer. Whoops, Mark is still up with us. Hold on. Oh, no, he isn't. Here. This is John. Let's get him up here. It takes a second here. John, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, Ashton Art? This is John from the squad.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, so question about the Microsoft pop-up. So my dad one time walks into work, turns on his computer, it boots up all right. So then he clicks on the internet browser that he uses, okay? And all of a sudden it starts talking, and the pop-up comes on and says, "You must call Microsoft at this number." Now he calls the number, all the rest. Is there a way to detect before the virus hits the computer to know if whether or not you're hacked? Because this seems like what happened was the day before my dad was using it was fine, but then when he just came back to work the next morning, it completely went, it got hacked. So is there a way to detect whether or not your computer is hacked?
All right, John, we got it. I'm gonna have the guys answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a virus on your computer, you're not going to get a pop-up that tells it to you and tells you to call this phone number. I mean, anytime that you're getting a prompt on screen like that to reach out to somebody is fishy in and of itself. So get a trustworthy antivirus or malware scanner, whether that's Multivisions or otherwise, that you trust and is reputable, so that you can scan your own computer for any malware that might be there. But don't follow any prompts given to you, especially those pop-ups. If you go to your browser that you always use, what these scammers will do is hijack domain names that are very similar to like Facebook and Google. So if you go and misspell facebook.com, you might hit one of those. There's a term for it. I can't think of it right now, but it's basically hijacking your mistake on your typing, on your typos.
Wow.
So they get you any way they can. So if you're being prompted on your computer, just right off the bat, you need to have a red flag up. And if you're really not sure, call Apple or Microsoft, not the phone number on the pop-up.
Absolutely.
Google the number yourself and call them that way.
Well, gentlemen, we just did a big promotion for Multivisions. Now it's time for me to take a little break to remind people about the people that let me do my show, okay? We're taking a minute break. Okay, our friends at Hydrolite. With so much focus on keeping ourselves and our loved ones safe and healthy, it's easy to forget that most of us are going to experience things like allergies, colds, possibly even the flu. So, reminding you, proper hydration is crucial for all of these things. Remember, even slight dehydration can make you feel like you're getting sick, and none of us need that anxiety right now, that's for sure. That's where Hydrolite comes in. Longtime fans will remember my obsession with Hydrolite, which is simply the best oral rehydration product I've tried. I'm even more excited to introduce their brand new single-serve powder sticks. Simply pour one powder stick into a glass of water. They recommend 7 ounces. The powder dissolves almost instantly, creating the perfect balance of sodium, glucose, and water. Delivers up to 4 times the electrolytes of your typical sports drink. The other great news about Hydrolite's new powder sticks, they're 100% all natural, no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. They're available in flavors like orange and lemonade, and they taste great. Hydration is crucial, and Hydrolite is fastest and easiest way to stay ahead of it. Get your supply of Hydrolite powder sticks now at hydrolite.com/DRDREW. Again, that's HYDRALYTE.com/DRDREW, and then use that code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout. able to take enteral fluid with this. Gentlemen, take a few more minutes of calls, then I'm going to wrap it all up, okay?
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
All right, here is Taylor. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hey guys, TA here. Hear ye.
Wait. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Hold on. What's the significance? I got to be let in on this. What's the hear ye?
Go ahead, TA. Let them know what it means.
Yeah.
What's it mean, TA?
Okay, so during their 200K stream, they were talking about sharing and all that. So I went out and I actually went out into my neighborhood and was walking around shouting, "Subscribe to Trilogy Media." For a good 10 minutes, sent them a video of it.
Well done. Hear ye.
Yeah, so being somebody who has had a second chance at life, I'm a former addict and alcoholic, and getting a chance to rebuild myself. What gave you guys the idea or to take the chance to give Dvala and Martissimo a second chance?
It's an interesting question, right?
TA, we love you so much, and we're very proud of you that you stay clean and you with our community, and you're such an amazing human being. You're strong, and we love you so much. And everybody deserves a chance. And I truly believe, we all making mistakes. We're not perfect. When I was 20, I thought I was perfect, but you know what? Not anymore. We're all making mistakes.
But now you realize you were right when you were 20.
TA, to answer your questions, sometimes you caught up with the wrong people in the wrong time. And we all, as a community, as a society, as human beings, we deserve to live better, eat better, healthy relationship, positivity. And if somebody needs a chance, you have to hang that hand and help that person rise up. It's enough people who are going to put you down. And that's for sure on a daily basis.
How long have you been sober, my friend? How long have you been sober, Taylor?
3.5 years.
Congratulations, man. Five's a big threshold. You know how 1 and 2 and 3 were each different. Your next one is 5, 7, 10, but it gets better. It gets better all the time. Let's see if we can get a couple more calls in here. Oh boy, suddenly everybody started calling. Okay, she's going to tell us about an employment scam. Amy is. Because that's what we promoted was the big issue these days with the COVID-19. So, Amy, go ahead.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We got you. Oh.
Hi there. I was calling because I want you to give me let you know of what I went through in early 2018. I put my resume on the CV Library and that kind of site just after my son was born. And I received an email from a gentleman it was a software company wanting someone to do some admin work at the time. And I thought, okay, that will be okay, that will be fine. So I went ahead with it, and within maybe 2 days of them offering me that and asking me just to do some random emails, they asked me to help out with some payroll work. And I wasn't quite sure what that would entail. They just said that they would send me some things in the mail that would help me. And they sent me 2 very large checks that were stamped and dated and signed by 2 different people. I had no idea about what to do at the time. Obviously, I know now because I've been watching your series recently. But at the time, I didn't know. I ended up calling the police to get some help, and they confirmed that I had been almost caught by a money laundering scam. And I just wanted to share that in case other people have got resumes out there on sites, that it's a lot more real than what people say, because it's very scary at the time, especially for someone who have not lived here for very long.
Right.
And your mother, I didn't know what to do. I was very scared at the time,
Amy,
because they were threatening to come after me. If I didn't.
Oh boy, let's see what their advice is. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful. It's so hard to know now, especially with everything with COVID and the rise of working at home jobs and people needing work, and so many. It's nearly impossible to keep up. Best thing I suggest to people is to just, if you're going to be job surfing, do your research. And I mean, it's all about research, right? So just if you're going to post your resume around, do it on websites that have solid privacy policies. Make sure, probably a good practice is to create an email address for yourself that's exclusively for job hunting. So if you're getting inquiries there from random things, or things that are different from what you applied for, at least you know that it has something to do with one of your applications, and you can at least kind of compare and contrast. But yeah, anytime that they want your information like that, like your shipping address or anything, long before you even have an interview of any kind, definitely a red flag. But just be on the lookout, be aware. You don't need to put a bunch of personal information on your resume. Create an email, stick with it, and just be careful where you're sending it.
And especially if somebody is already, you haven't even got a job yet, but somebody already asking for full digits of your social security, which only until you're going to get hired, then they're going to, move you to a payroll, and payroll going to take care of it when you have to put your information. So a lot of red flags. So somebody asking for your checking account, for this one, cash, pay, your social security, you know what? Close it and start moving on, because it's definitely somebody trying to get your money.
Danny has an update for you. Danny, what do you got?
Hello. I'm a big fan of Trilogy Media. I just want to say that you guys really make a difference, and you guys are heroes. But my question is that do you guys have any updates for Marquissimo or the scammers that you guys have changed lives of?
Marquissimo.
Well, thank you for asking. Marquissimo was the first scammer that we came across that was expressing a lot of remorse, and it's one that he took a risk on us and FaceTimed us and gave us a lot of information. And his dream was to own a print shop of his own and do make money the right way. And we did a GoFundMe for him and helped him, and now he has a storefront.
Wow.
As far as updates, yeah, he's documented the whole thing. It took about 1.5 years, the whole process, but it's a very emotional experience. Him, like everyone else, is affected by COVID. So he, as far as we know, has been stuck at home a lot. We still communicate with him infrequently, but he's got unreliable internet. We post updates every time we have them on the YouTube channel. Right now, he's just fighting to get through this like everybody else. So nothing hard hitting yet, but it was definitely a life-changing story.
Our plan was...
Go ahead.
Our plan initially was, because we have 2 ex-scammers right now in India. One got his shop, another one got taxi because there is no transportation. So we started another GoFundMe, got him a car. And our plan is, especially documentaries, filmmakers in your soul, go to India, meet each of them, meet family, meet the villages. They improving life in neighborhood because of this one the right decision. You help somebody who needed help. And right now that person on your wedding, printing, like your passport, everything that you need, supplying, transportation, so you can go to big cities and find a legal job. We, unfortunately, through COVID, it's got delayed, but we want to go meet them in person, and more updates are coming. Yep.
Orchid has a question. I think this is probably really important. It's about Medicare. Orchid, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to Trilogy Media. Dexter and Weasel, hi! Happy birthday, Ashton. Okay. Yes, so I have been bothered for a very long time now by Medicare scammers. I'm on Medicare. I'm not elderly, but I'm on disability. And they want my Medicare number. I accidentally gave it to them one night because just like Dr. Drew's wife was saying, I normally wouldn't have fallen for it, but I was in need. I had just requested Medicare to send me my new number.
Right.
And then a guy calls me, even though he's got an Indian accent, saying he's Medicare, and this is about your new card. And I said, oh yeah, I called about that. So I just totally fell for everything he was saying. He got my brand new number. He started asking my name, address. He wanted everything. And I, at one point, said, you're Medicare, you know this. Oh, yes, but we need to verify it. And I said, I hung up. But they call me constantly. I didn't know until watching Trilogy Media that they're spoofing their number because it looks exactly like mine except for the last 4 digits.
Right.
I normally don't answer that line. I kind of can't even use that phone line because they call me all the time. But I don't understand how do they get money out of this? They have never asked me for money. They want my Medicare.
So how do they get money? It's interesting to me how many of these things are founded on confirmation bias, right?
Yeah.
They're fishing for somebody whose circumstances, just like Orchid's or just like Susan's, in that moment when they're vulnerable, when there is when they hit, because our brain does this, right? Our brain is always looking for things to understand, and if you are worrying about the energy bill at the moment they happen to call, that you have confirmation bias, they can take full advantage of that. So anyway, how do they make money off the Medicare scams?
They'll take advantage of anything they can get a hold of, and that's all part of their script, is to ask a lot of questions. We haven't talked about as many of the Medicare scams, but it sounds like it's a very similar path they take as the Social Security. You know, they ask you all the information. They ask you, have you ever lost your wallet? Have you ever been to Texas, which is their script? You know, so they'll find anything they can latch onto,
right,
and try to get that information from you. And I'd be willing to bet, I'm glad you hung up, but I'm willing to bet if you had gone through the call even further. And the other thing to remember is that this is all about numbers for them. They put out 10 billions of robocalls out every month. There's bound to be 0.001% of those recipients that have something to do with this that they can latch onto. And unfortunately, you happen to be one of them. So even if less than 1% fall for their calls, and that's still millions of victims. So
I'm getting
it's all
texts now. I'm getting text, and the latest one is, you have a package from FedEx. And you click on it, and then you go, oh, you're going to win $1,000. And then you click on it, and it's like, and then the phone starts ringing, and you're,
yeah, they'll find it any way they can, and it's getting worse, especially right now. So
you know, through these horrible times that we're all going through as human beings and society and communities, and it's affected us. Let's make it. You know, there is. You know, somebody's richer, somebody's poor. It's affect every single person on this earth. Everything was happening, and you know what? We people, we were born trusting. And when we beat up on our knees, scammers calling us and telling us that government is here, gonna give you stimulus check. We came across right now these scams all the time. Ashton plays very old character, Mortimer, 94 years old. He put his character on, and you know what? When scammers are hearing that they're talking to elderly person, it's like red when the bull is running. They're like,
fresh meat for that.
How much Social Security money you getting per month? They got all the information. And to answer your question, how they gonna scam you? Same freaking scenario. Sir, before we're gonna give you that stimulus check of $2,500 or whatever the amount is, do you have any nearby CVS, Walgreens, Target, Walmart? Go buy 500, 1,000
processing fee. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's how they got you, no matter what. It's medical, it's a stimulus check, Social Security, and so on.
Who is, you know, you're again, the squad pre-armed me with a couple things. Rosie? Eerie Rosie? Is that a character?
Yeah.
Or Kitbog?
No, it's not.
So what?
Rosie, you talking about the YouTuber
Rosie? Yes.
They just put the names up there. They throw names at me.
There's so many names. Mortimer is he's the old guy here, and but yeah, Rosie is another sister in scam baiting. IRL Rosie on YouTube does an amazing lot of talents, but specifically she's great at the Alexa voice, so she likes to play Frank scammers as Alexa.
IRL Rosie, they're saying.
So Drew, tell him about your dad and the scam that he went through the night before he died.
Yeah, I can't really remember what it was.
It was Mario was in Canada.
Yeah, it was somebody he
money
knew
to get out of jail.
Right, it was somebody he knew, and my dad couldn't figure out how the name came up, and you know, he sort of bought it because the name was accurate for somebody he knew back east, and
they wanted money to get him out of jail, and then he got really mad. He called us very angry, and the next day he had a cerebral hemorrhage and died.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's what you can do to people if they get really upset.
They tried to get my grandma the same way. They actually called her and pretended to be me, and she bought it. She said they pretended to be me. They said that as me, they said I've been arrested for DUI in Mexico. I need bail money. Thankfully, she called my aunt and she didn't give them any money. But like I called them back and just raise hell, you know. And of course, they just get all back in your face, whatever they can do to stab you, you know.
You know what? We we tried so many angles, again, protect our community. And as we know, elderly people, when so many babushkas, didushkas, elderly people, grandmothers and grandfathers in veteran houses, right, in facilities, living facilities, we went in person. I was like talking to the manager, and I was like, this is number one category of getting scammed. It's our elderly people. We would love to give a free speaking awareness. And it's so much bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy, right?
Bureaucracy, yeah.
And they just, you cannot go through these. You cannot go, you cannot do. And I was like, we just want to go and tell elderly people, bring awareness, because they getting the pension, savings. It's, we do what we can, but I truly believe that if all of us combine together, including government, get together, it will be way faster, way bigger, and more executive, you know what I mean?
I'm glad as a new citizen you have faith in the government, so it's good to hear. so bringing the government to do anything and be like, oh. But let's do one more call, a feel-good call for you guys. This is Alexis.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Oh, can you guys hear me? Oh, you okay? Yes. Sorry. No, I just wanted to call in because I've been with, a family member of Trilogy Media for a long time now, and I just want everybody to know that they're more than just scam busters. You guys have helped me so much and have lifted my spirits more than I could even tell you. And I get a lot of emails and a lot of fake calls because I have cancer, and I'm going to have to file medical bankruptcy because of all the bills.
Oh my God.
And I get countless emails and phone calls all the time about, wanting to help me and loans and, stuff it's not real. And it's like as if I don't have enough to worry about. Let's add that on, trying to weed through all those emails and voicemails and everything.
Alexis, thank you for calling us, Alexis. And I'm sure these guys' thoughts are with you. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Well, Alexis, we love you so much, and thank you for your kind words. You're going to make me cry on a Wednesday afternoon. But you know what? This is one of those unexpected blessings of this, what we set out to do, which was just a total accident, honestly. I mean, obviously, we want to lift up everybody's spirits, but the fact that we've been able to come together and not only create this content, raise awareness about a really important issue, but we've grown this family, and we're not the biggest YouTube channel in the world, but we have the most loving group of online community that I've ever seen and I watch a lot of YouTube channels. I've never seen this before. And the fact that we can have that effect on people, and we didn't even really set out to do that, is just such a gift. And it brings me to tears more often than I'll admit.
This is escapism. It's giving and receiving. This is escapism for us as well, because every single day when we spend time with people that we love, which you guys are, Trilogy Media Family Squad, and all this reality, look, let's face it, everybody has those credit cards that you need to pay, those past bills. There are so much stuff going on. But when you zoom out and we go on a show laughing is the best medicine that you can find. And if you can combine with a good message, bringing awareness, busting scammers, being positive, and laugh your ass off, what else do you need?
Thanks, Alexis.
It's the best, yeah.
All right, Alex, take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you, guys.
Okay, you got it.
You too.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to wrap this thing up. Where do people go? Where do they find you? Give us all the particulars.
Thank you very much. Find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Trilogy Media. You can subscribe to us. It would mean a lot to us. Hit the notification bell. Become a member if you want extra content. We do live streams almost every day. We release videos quite often, all exposing scammers, having fun, promoting positivity.
And squad, please subscribe to Dr. Drew.
Absolutely.
We're so honored. We're so happy.
Hit the bell. What is the bell? I have no idea.
What is the bell? Exactly, Susan.
Notification bell, so you get notified when we're live or when we upload. So.
And thanks to Mark the Shark for sending us lots of money today. We really appreciate your sponsor paying for our time.
I know. We're actually going to be monetized today.
My phone screener just got a paycheck.
There you go. There you go.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, talk to me about Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. What else?
Instagram and Facebook, Trilogy Media Inc. INC. You can find everything at the home base of our website, trilogymediainc.com. And yeah, we're live on YouTube almost every day, so come say hi.
It's been a really interesting. You guys have been great, but really, the squad has been greater. They've been really a pleasure to be around.
They're the whole reason we can do this. So they deserve all the credit.
Dr. Drew, we won lottery. Lottery by having we can count how many people we left, but.
You won the lottery, but there's something about you guys that they're responding to, and so it wasn't pure luck. So there's something real here and something genuine, and they're really, responding to you guys. So
we'll have you back again.
Yeah,
the next time I get scammed,
or if you need, if anything I can do to contribute,
don't get scammed.
Or if I can, well, there'll probably be another time, but or me, whatever. But if you need me for anything, let me know, guys. I'm part of the squad now. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Special day. We're lucky, and thank you so much.
It's our honor. It's our honor to be here. So thank you so much.
Pleasure, gentlemen. See you soon. All right, let me wrap my own stuff up here. I don't have a lot to say today. Let me just tell everybody that the COVID, continues to improve. Although you're hearing, of course, the panic porn is out there saying that there is still, oh my God, there are outbreaks. There will be outbreaks. There will be outbreaks. This is one of the things that we have to get used to. Until there is widespread distribution of the vaccine, there are going to be regions that have outbreaks. There are going to be schools that have outbreaks. The issue is to limit them, to make sure people don't get sick, to make sure it's not exposing the elderly population, who are the ones that get sick from this, and that we contain it and learn to live with it. But do not succumb to the panic porn. The data is getting extraordinarily good throughout the country. Why places Los Angeles are waiting to open up is bizarre. We were at 800 cases yesterday. We're at 1,400 today. The governor of California set a standard of 100 cases per day in California, in LA County, which we will never get to with the sensitivity of the test we're using right now. So the way they have it set up, we will never end lockdown. So this is going to have to be reconsidered or reconfigured. And then, of course, LA County, in their infinite wisdom, is now, Susan, they're allowing hair salons to open, but only at 25% capacity, whatever that means.
Oh, what happened at 1 o'clock today?
What was that?
They were going to tell us whether or not hair and nail salons.
They're opening at 25% capacity.
How about nail salons?
I don't know, but that 25% capacity is an insane number. It's capricious, it's arbitrary, and it's part of this non-scientific approach that everyone's taking. Be slow. Go ahead. Say 50% for 10 days and then look at the data and see where you are. But 25%? Bizarre and random.
That just pays to turn the lights on.
Yeah, bizarre and random. And it's punishing the good people of Los Angeles who have gone to great lengths to reduce this.
How are they going to know if you're 25%?
Oh,
how do they know?
That was the other thing. I don't know what they're talking about. So.
Yeah, it's BS.
Okay,
just do whatever.
Anyway, enjoyed talking to these guys. I enjoyed interacting with you guys on the squad. You've been great on the chat.
Your hair blown out. Jesus.
On the chat stream here. I'm watching you guys.
That was fun. They were really amazing. I want to thank Valerie Allen and Harriet Duncan at Valerie Allen PR for setting that up for me.
Yes, it's a pleasure, and I'm happy to support these guys.
Really
they're clearly doing God's work.
And also Caleb for coming back. We're so happy.
Caleb's had his surgery. He's all here. He's all 100%, and
it feels so good to just be goofing around behind the scenes.
I guess Adam has gotten into a shitstorm here. I'm hearing.
Away.
Yeah.
And also, check out all the other shows Drew does at drdrew.com, and come see Dose of Dr. Drew this week. We'll be around.
So Adam tweeted. You want me to read the tweet? Ryan Holiday just texted it to me.
Okay.
Should I read it?
Sure. What is it?
It may cause a shitstorm for us. Me just reading it.
All right. Well. I don't think, hopefully people will be listening. We still have 426 people.
Here we go. Turns out the people dying from COVID are either old or sick or both. How many of you pussies got played, and who's going to get played the next time? Adam Grohl. That's his tweet.
Oh, no.
And it's having
that's a good ending to a scam show.
It's having quite a bit of play.
Yeah, that's kind of the same feeling some people have about COVID-19.
Yes.
But some people. I'm not saying all, not you. Not me.
Look for it on Twitter and they interact there. Thank you for the calls. I'm sorry I can't get to everybody today. You guys were great that did call, and I would love to. We always leave people on hold, and I apologize for that. I wish we could get to everybody, but it's just not possible. A lot of squad love still going on the chat stream. I don't have much else, and you guys don't have any questions about the state of things in COVID right now. Just know things are getting better. They're getting better rapidly.
And sorry we didn't get to all the calls.
Really getting better. And just keep it up with the mask. Keep up the social distancing, and this will continue to get better. But it's no reason it shouldn't.
We have to.
But it will not go to zero. It will not go to zero. It may never go to zero,
we
frankly.
have a new sponsor, 2 new sponsors that we need to do a commercial for.
Oh, do I read it? Or we
not now?
Okay,
but after we go.
Okay, but and again, the idea of COVID going to zero is a pipe dream, even with the vaccine. Think about influenza. We still have influenza. We still have viruses. We still have measles, even though we have vaccines. So this idea of it going way down is kind of silly. But we can get it way under control.
Let's talk about it on Dose of Dr. Drew tomorrow.
Not Dose of Dr. Drew?
No, we'll talk about it on Dose of Dr. Drew tomorrow.
Okay, we'll talk about what's going on tomorrow. You want me to wrap up is what you're saying?
3 p.m.
All right, 3 p.m. tomorrow we'll be in here. I don't think we're in on Friday, though, right?
More COVID stuff.
Yeah, we'll do a little more COVID stuff, and I'll watch the stream. You guys can ask me your questions.
One day at a time here. Let's do this.
Today we will wrap things up, and thank you for all being here. Thank the boys. Thank you to the squad, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.